Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Totally Arabic. Today we're going to learn how to use ليس and لست in a sentence. But before that, we need to know what type of sentences do we have in Arabic. Why do we use ليس and لست? And also we need to know how to use them in a sentence. So the first thing is Arabic sentence can be either nominal sentence or a verbal sentence. A nominal sentence is a sentence that begins with a noun or a pronoun. And the verbal sentence is a sentence that begins with a verb. So why do we use ليس in a sentence? So the simple reason why do we use ليس is to form a negative sentence. So now let's start with a verbal sentence beginning with a verb. So this example here, ليس يعلم. يعلم is a verb, which means he knows. Once we added ليس and becomes ليس يعلم, the meaning changes to he does not know. He doesn't know. ليس يعلم. The meaning of ليس with this verb is similar to لا with a verb. So many people, they know لا يعلم, which is familiar to many people. لا يعلم, which means he does not know. ليس يعلم is the same. Just ليس is more used in poetry. It is very poetic. So you don't use it or you don't hear it much in everyday conversation, but you can find it in poetry. Now let's have a look at nominal sentence beginning with a noun, what we call in Arabic الجملة الاسمية. So this is one sentence. الطقس جميل. الطقس جميل, which means the weather is wonderful. If I want to make it negative, all what I have to do is just add ليس at the beginning of the sentence, and I should say ليس الطقس جميلا. ليس الطقس جميلا. The weather is not wonderful. So ليس in English means not. It gives the negative meaning to the sentence. Something else that you need to pay attention to is here the haraka is dhamma. Once we add ليس, the haraka changes to a fatha. So here الطقس جميل. Here ليس الطقس جميلا. Here is another example for more clarification. السيارة كبيرة. So it is a nominal sentence because it starts with a noun, which is السيارة, the car. So السيارة كبيرة means the car is big. How can I make this negative? ليست السيارة كبيرة. ليست السيارة كبيرة. So here we did not use ليس, we used ليست simply because this noun here is feminine. So for a masculine noun we use ليس, for a feminine we use ليست. So has a kasra. The only reason for that is alif and lam here. So normally, if there was no alif and lam on the following noun, the ta will have a sukoon similar to this one, and it is laysat. And same to the previous example, here has dhamma, but here, once we add laysat, it takes fatha here. Laysat is-sayyaratu kabiratu. What about this one here? Ad-daru dari. Ad-daru dari, which means the house is my house. So here we added laysati simply because ad-daru is a feminine word. And because daru has alif and lam here, this one will take a kasra. Laysati daru dari. So here you notice like there is no fatha at the end, simply because here we have two words here. We have dar, which is a house, and we have the ya, which has the meaning of my in English. So it is like possessive pronoun, my house. ليست الدار داري. So when there is only one noun, it takes a fatha. When it is a combined, like here, for example, we have my house. The structure is different, so we don't put a fatha here. Now let's have a look at nominal sentence, beginning with a pronoun this time. What I mean by a pronoun is this one here, for example, أنا, which means I am. أنا, I am. أنا مدرس, I am a teacher. How can I make this sentence negative? I need the help with ليس. With pronouns, we don't have ليس. We have for each pronoun a different form. And the first one for this pronoun أنا, the form that we have for this pronoun is لست. It does not change. It keeps always the same form. And it is very specific to أنا. أنا لست مدرسا, which means I am not a teacher. Again, the Dhamma here changed to a Fatha here, similar to the previous two examples that we have seen at the beginning. أنا لست مدرسا, I am not a teacher. أنت. أنت is another pronoun. We use it when we are talking to a male singular, and it means you are. أنت غني, rich. أنت غني, you are rich. How can I make this sentence negative? For أنت, we use لست. أنت لست غنيا. You can see here, we have fatha here on the ta. This ta takes fatha as well. أنت لست. أنت لست غنيا, you are not rich. So this one here gave the negative meaning to this sentence here. And the same applies here, and you know the reason. Simply because we have lesta here, this changed to a fatha. أنت فقيرة. أنت, we use it when we are talking to a female singular. أنت فقيرة, you are poor. How can we make it a negative sentence? We add لست, and then أنت لست فقيرة. أنت لست فقيرة, you are not poor. You can see again, كسرة here, كسرة here. أنت لست. And same here, Dhamma, and here change to a fatha because we have lest here. What about the pronoun huwa? Huwa means he is. Huwa tabibun. Huwa can also means it is, because huwa applies to people and applies also to objects or animals. Huwa. Huwa tabibun, he is a doctor. What about a negative? Huwa laysa tabiban. Huwa laysa tabiban. He is not a doctor. So you can see we added laysa here, and it becomes negative sentence. Huwa laysa tabiban. And again, Dhamma here changed to a fatha here. Huwa laysa tabiban. Hiya hazinatun. Hiya is a pronoun. It can mean she is. It can also mean it is when it is referring to an object or an animal in the feminine. Hiya hazinatun. She is sad. What about the negative? Hiya laysat hazinatan. Hiya laysat hazinatan. Can you see? Remember we talked about laysat? When it is followed by an alif and lam, this sukun changes to kasra. But when it is followed by a noun that has no alif and lam, we keep the sukun. And this is the default format for this one here. This is how it should be. It only changes to a kasra when it is followed by alif and lam. Hiya laysat hazinatan. She is not sad. Again, Dhamma here changes to a fatha when we add laysat, or the other format of laysa. So laysa, just for you to know, laysa is actually a verb, and it does change according to the pronoun. So each pronoun has a very specific format for it. And here is a summary. Ana applies to both a male and a female when they are talking about themselves in the singular format. Ana. Ana lestu. Anta when I'm talking to a male, singular, أنت. I should say أنت لست. You are not. أنت, when I'm talking to a female, أنت means you are talking to a female, singular. If I say أنت لست, you are not. هو, when I'm talking about masculine, absent, he's not with me, that person, the masculine. هو, absent. هو ليس. هو ليس means he is not. Here, when I'm talking about a female, she is not with us, absent. Here, she is. But if I say here ليست, that means she is not. Now let's have a look how to form the interrogative sentence beginning with the hamza on top of an alif. So this is one of the examples that we have seen before. أنا لست مدرسا, which means I am not a teacher. So now we understand that whenever there is لست there, that means a negative sentence. أنا لست مدرسا, I am not a teacher. So how can I make a question in the negative? What we need to do is first ignore the pronoun completely and replace it with a hamza on top of an alif and give it a fatha. And then keep لست as it is, and then keep this one as it is and add a question mark. أنا لست مدرسا becomes ألست مدرسا. ألست مدرسا, which means am I not a teacher? ألست مدرسا. What about this example? أنت لست غنيا. I'm talking to a male here, singular, and I'm telling him أنت لست غنيا. You are not rich. What about if I want to form a question in the negative? Same format as we said before. We ignore the pronoun completely and we replace it with alif, on top of it hamza, and on top of the hamza fatha. We keep this one as it is, لست, and غنيا same, and then we add the question mark. ألست غنيا, which means aren't you rich? Talking to a male, singular. What about أنت لست فقيرة? You are not poor. Here I'm talking to a female now, singular. To form the question in the negative, we ignore the pronoun completely and we replace it with alif with hamza, becomes a. لست فقيرة, and we add question mark. ألست فقيرة, which means aren't you poor? هو ليس طبيبا. He is not a doctor. How can we form the question here? Try it. It is the same format as we have seen before. What do we do first? We ignore the pronoun completely and we replace it with alif and hamza and fatha. We keep this one as it is and this one as it is, and we add a question mark. It becomes أليس طبيبا. أليس طبيبا, which means isn't he a doctor? Remember, huwa means he is. So when we are forming the question in the negative, it becomes isn't he a doctor? أليس طبيبا. What about this one here? هي ليست حزينة. هي ليست حزينة. She is not sad. How can we form the question here? Same format again. What shall we do? Ignore this completely, replace it with alif and hamza and fatha. Keep this one as it is. أليست حزينة, and we add a question mark. It becomes like this. أليست حزينة. أليست حزينة, which means isn't she sad? How did I understand that it is she, not an he? Simply because here we used ليست, and ليست we use it only for the feminine, not masculine. For the masculine we use ليس. Feminine we use ليست. I hope now it's clear for you how to use ليس in every sentence, whether it is negative or interrogative. If you like the content, join the channel and subscribe. You will get more of these in the future. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.